Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, and on today's agenda we will be talking about old world scenery, specifically the older kits that Games Workshop used to sell, and maybe getting some of them repaired, replaced, painted, and just ready for some awesome games. As you can see, I have a big collection of scenery. I don't just mean the 5 pieces that are on this page here. I pretty much have all the Games Workshop scenery that has come out over the last, I don't know how many years. That includes all of the old world scenery, whether you go back to the old school tower and little house, I have fortified manors, or whether you go to the giant kind of observation tower or fortress or the smaller tower. I've got it all. And I thought I would start an additional series for the old world where I build and paint up some of these older pieces, enough so that I get a beautiful table ready to play games on. I think I'm going to start this series off in quite a humble way with the beautiful Walls and Fences set. So this set did came up many years ago, and it did of course go away with the fall of the old world. It came back briefly as a made to order, and I actually bought 5 sets of it then. So in today's video I'm going to take one of those sets from on sprue to completely finish painting all the extra details and gubbins and all those other bits that previous times painting the set I would have just skipped over, a quick dry brush, and just ignored those because I was in a time rush or whatever. I want to be able to paint every single little bolt and chain and all the extra bits and see how they turn out. So it should be a fun one, I think. Before I get into it, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of my active patrons. I would not be able to continue doing what I am doing without you, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. If you're interested in getting involved with that yourself, it's linked in the description below. You get access to a private Discord server. You can talk to me about your hobby on a daily basis, take part in a community that has over 300 people in it now, and you get access to a daily style vlog over on Patreon, where you can find out what's going on behind the scenes and also alter and change things that I'm doing, so you can have a little bit of input in what happens on the channel. Okay, without further ado, let's get stuck into some Walls and Fences. Okay, this is the Walls and Fences set. This is actually the reprint of it, so I don't actually have the nice box. It's just the white box, but as you can see, it sat in my pile for quite a while, hence the kind of dire straits of the box. When you crack it open, this is what you will be seeing. As you can see, it is a collection of walls. Now, it's quite an interesting collection of walls if you think about it, because it's made up of like 4 different versions of walls. You've obviously got the stonework one, which has some wooden gates and stuff. And then there's obviously some wicker parts, and then some standard old kind of wooden fence style pieces. And the reason that I bought so many of these sets, I actually bought 5 of them when they got reproduced. One, I love them. I think they're fantastic. And the reason that I'm painting them up now is that in the near future, there looks to be some other games on the channel, like Frostgrave and stuff like that. And scatter terrain and terrain that kind of blocks line of sight and gives you cover, I think is going to be super useful. Mordheim, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get some nice sets done up. With the 5 sets, it means that if I paint up all of them, I can kind of pull the sets apart and put them back together again as here's a bunch of stone walls, here's a bunch of wooden fences, here's, you know what I mean? They should match each other a little bit better. Because I like this set so much, I am going to do what I've never done before. I've used this set dozens of times in old store projects when we're making tables or stuff like that, or bashing out loads of them for gaming tables and stuff. But this is my set now. This is the first time I've ever painted a set of these that are for me. So I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to really do all the detail and make it look really nice. So I started with the Colored Forge standard gray spray across it all. It's a really nice spray. The Colored Forge stuff is really good. If you've never checked it out before, it's quite good value. Quite large cans. They don't pay me to say this. I just like them. And I'm going to paint them up now. So unfortunately, the first clip for this whole video got messed up. I don't know how, and it was me applying shade to all of the rock walls. It got super zoomed in. There was literally nothing was in the frame of the video. I'm sorry. So we will skip that section. So if you're suddenly wondering why all the rocks is a different color, all it was Agrax Earthshade applied all over the top of it. That was done before I did this bit here. So that should have been the first clip. It's no longer here. Solid coat of Agrax Earthshade over all of the rock. That's it. After that, we did Agros Dunes over the wicker stages. Now, some people may be wondering why I'm doing a painting video on stuff like this. I think that at some stage, these sets should come back into production. I think the old world, we're going to see a lot of sets come back that went away for quite a long time. And I think the Walls and Fences set is a beautiful one to bring back for people to get their hands on and add a little bit of scatter terrain to their games of the old world, or for even for Age of Sigmar and stuff. I think they're fantastic. And if not, then I'm just going to show you a showcase of some of the older old world scenery pieces that do exist. I did show at the start of the video the different ones that I have. And even if you take that little old watchtower. So it's such a bizarre thing because everybody just put the 4 walls together and the little roof on, and that's it. When in actual fact it came with loads of extra pieces like braces to hold it up and all sorts of other gubbins that, you know, at the time they're being made for scenery projects for stores. They were just being rushed through, and more building for scenery pieces for tournaments. They just did the bare minimum, and I don't want that. I want these kits to be as beautiful as they possibly can be. So which means that I'm going to have to custom make some of the old missing parts, like the old strut supports. I might have to actually break out some balsa wood. I've never really worked with balsa wood with scenery before. Give all the scenery pieces like bases and stuff. One of my favorite scenery projects that people used to do is create little wheat fields using the like old household door mats. You know, that kind of, like I say, wicker. It looks kind of like the wickery color, but it's much tougher. And basically they use the walls and fences, and they make a base for it. It makes obviously a square or whatever. You paint up the walls and fences, and you also put some like milliput and stuff inside on the ground, and you put some grooves in it as if it's been like tilled earth. But then you cut out a piece of the doormat to fit inside of it. So when you put the field down at the beginning of the game, it's got all the lush like foliage in it. It's got the wheat growing in it. It looks really good. And then if a unit needs to move inside it or whatever, you can literally just take the field out and have the tilled soil underneath it. It's just a really nice, wholesome little project. Creates a beautiful piece of terrain on the tabletop. It doesn't really obscure or obstruct too much, and it's something that I really want to do. I've wanted to do it for years. So with 1 or 2 sets of my walls and fences, maybe I will make some old school farm fields. I think that'd be awesome. I did actually buy an IKEA doormat years ago for the intention of doing that, so I need to find that and dig it out. Okay, here it is with kind of like all the base coats and stuff on like the basic material. So the rock and the wood and the wicker and stuff. From here, it's time to start working up the stone. So like I said, before this, it's just the gray spray and then the aggro third shade. After that, we're going to jump up to dawn stone and do quite a heavy dry brush all across that rock. I love using the aggro third shade because it's obviously the brown. These rocks have been piled up to make walls for maybe decades at this stage. They're going to be dirty. It's going to be grimy. And that's why I like using kind of brown shades for it. Not brown, not blacks like a lot of people use, as the shadow should be kind of grungy. And I think it really works well. You can see the difference between the 2 wall sections. One that has been dry brushed and one that has not. And dry brushing really is an underrated skill. People should really kind of hone their skill with dry brushing, and a bunch of projects will get done a hell of a lot faster. I really am enjoying this. So the wall section looks like this now. That's after 1 dry brush, and we are going to push it forward and add just another dry brush. I'm going to jump all the way up to Celestial Gray, which is quite a bright one, but we are going to go a lot lighter. You can see the slower movement of the brush. I'm just trying to catch those really sharp edges and make the wall bits pop. I know that a lot of the old world stuff seems kind of dated, and some people do have the complaint that, you know, they're not giving us beautiful new models for every range, but I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm capturing my childhood by doing these old scenery kits and painting up these old armies and playing an older style game. I'm trying to like capture the magic of what games felt like back then. And funnily enough, it's kind of working. I'm enjoying playing Warhammer the Old World a lot more than I'm enjoying playing a lot of the modern games from Games Workshop. I don't know what that is, but I'm kind of analysing it in my head over and over again, and I've got some ideas and some things I want to do with Warhammer 40k, which we'll see if I can manage to get myself to enjoy that a little bit more. Morghast Bone was brought in. I'm going to use this as the dry brush over the wicker parts. Like I said, all we did was the Aggros Dunes. Now Morghast Bone dry brush, that's it. We're going to get a beautiful wicker wall with that. It's going to look like we put loads of effort in, but we really did not. It's only taking a couple of seconds to dry brush that, and look how good that wicker looks. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to go through all the different stages, dry brushing up all the different parts of the wall. Like I said, the stone, the wicker, and the wood. The wood itself got done with Mornfang Brown. Now this does actually get a second dry brush a little bit later on, when I'm doing the kind of mound of earth that these things are on. Do them in like 3 stages. I'm going to do Rhinox Hide, I'm going to paint over it, and then I dry brush at Rise of Rust and dry brush at Bone. When I get to the Ushabti Bone dry brush, I actually run that across all of the wooden railings and slats and stuff as well, just to add an extra sharper bit of detail. I just realized another use for all these walls that I will definitely be using is I plan on having a look at the new bolt action I would love to get back into that and play a couple of games. I think it's just such a great system. Big World War II nerd. So I would be very interested in playing through some more of those military style games, some more historical stuff. I've got a bunch of friends who are also into that, so it should be easy enough for me to get some pickup games and play through it. So beautiful sets of walls and fences that aren't like crazy high fantasy. Something that's a bit more grounded. I think it's going to be great. So here's the idea where I was talking about with those bases. So we're going to very carefully paint Rhinox hide in all of the mounds of earth. It's really funny how much this stage actually helps. And I don't mean the whole dry brushing up of all the different things. I mean, just adding the Rhinox hide, breaking up all of the gray and giving the walls a base. It suddenly made them look so much better. Not that they looked bad before, but it makes them pop even more than before. I love it. Look how cool that looks. Big fan. Like I said, Rise of Rust is my second color for doing bases. I've been doing this for years. Rise of Rust just adds a little bit of warmth to the soil color. I love it. People may think I'm weird, but it does, I think, work a treat. I started doing it with my Death Corps of Krieg, just to give that kind of rusty iron look to soil. And I've been doing it ever since. It just adds, just like I said, a bit of warmth, a bit of color to it. It doesn't look weird. It doesn't look like they're walking on Mars or anything like that. You're going very light to it. And then when you add the bone color on top of it, it makes it pop even more. Here it is with the brown and the orange dry brush. And like I said, it doesn't look very orange, right? It just looks like warm mud, warm earth. Like I said, here's where we came in with the Ushabti bone. We did the final dry brush on all the edges of the soil. And this is where I realized that this dry brush was also extremely useful on all the wood bits. So we did it on those as well. Do any of you guys have any of these sets lying around in your piles of shame? Do you even have them not lying around your piles of shame, but you painted them up years ago really fast and really badly and you didn't really put much time or effort into them? I would love for people to go out and kind of dig them out and get them cleaned up and even respray them and get them repainted and add them to their scenery collections. When's the last time you put them on the table? When's the last time they've seen the light of day? I think they deserve a little bit more than that. Even this, like that piece there has wicker, has a wheel, it has a flag, it has a bit of grass growing out of the top of it. And you could do it really quick by just doing it all brown, adding the sun symbol in silver. Whereas I'm not. I'm going to break it all up. We have the wicker parts, we have the wooden parts, we have the wheel, we have the metallic parts. We're going to have the Solon symbol done in silver and gold, and we're going to paint up like a little tuft of grass showing up underneath it. Now, there was a million other steps to do from there. Like I showed you how to paint the rock and how to paint the ground, how to paint the wood and how to paint the wicker. I didn't have time to show you how to paint all the other little detailed bits because honestly, if I did, it would take a million years. So we did all of the ringlets. Obviously, we're tying up horses and stuff. We painted up all the little grass tufts. I'm sure you guys can figure out how to do that. Even things like on the falling log, there's a smushed goblin underneath it that I didn't even know about. I don't know how many times I've painted this set, but because this time I'm kind of like analyzing all the different parts, there's a little smushed goblin or a goblin hiding underneath it. So I wanted to paint it up as well. I added some standard flock to all the bases to finish them off. And yeah, I just really love it. This is the completed set. Like I said, I added all the wording to the sign. I painted up the shield to match my Dogs of War army. If you're wondering when I finished these off, I actually did a Twitch stream last night. I Twitch stream every Tuesday and Thursday evening between 8 and 10 p.m. Irish time. If you want to see me paint things like this or a bunch of other things, please do think about joining me on stream. There's a really nice group of people there. We're all super supportive. We talk through doing the hobby. It keeps us engaged. And it's somewhere that you can go twice a week for 2 hours and know that get the hobby done. I find it super helpful to have a structured time where you know, okay, tonight it's Tuesday or tonight it's Thursday. So I know that I'm going to be doing hobby for 2 hours. I feel like getting that little incentivization done really does help. And you get some really nice hobby done. So here is some solid pictures of it, and I just want to show you the extra use for these walls, or like what they're used for. You may be wondering like how often do you use them, but I like the transformative nature of them, where you can have something as simple as a little house. And a little house can seem a little boring, and people do just plonk these houses down on the table. I'm like, there you go, there's a scenery piece. Where all of a sudden, if you just add a collection of walls, suddenly it's a homestead. It makes a lot more sense, and it looks way cooler. I love it. And there we have it, guys, a full and complete set of walls and fences. It was an extremely pleasurable experience getting this set done. I definitely think I'll be breaking out at least 2 more of the sets that I have on sprue and getting them painted up to this standard to match in. These are great pieces of scenery, not only for Warhammer the Old World, but for things like Age of Sigmar. And also, as you've noticed, we've been taking a little interest in things like Frostgrave, Mordheim, and other games like that, which I think having obstacle scenery is going to be particularly useful. If you enjoyed this video, please do let me know. If you would like to see more in the series, having some of these sets, even the ones that are painted, I don't particularly like the style with the blue stone. I want to go to more traditional kind of medieval style with the brown rock or the grey rock and stuff like that. So if seeing these scenery pieces kind of fixed up, repaired and repainted is something that interests you, please do let me know in the comments below, and together we can put an awesome table together. Okay, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it on all future content. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the Patreon using the link. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.